What's going on, guys? It's Sakula here, and today we're looking at the second place winner for the Forge contest. Beautiful map. I love it, and I will actually say real quick why this is not as first place. It is because both maps are unique in their own way, but one map has something that the other one does not, and that's the consistency of what's there. This map has a few different areas that kind of blends in but doesn't fit, in my opinion, and I will show you and talk about that throughout the map. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. This map is made by Ph0enix Uprise. He's a member of Sakula Gaming, a member of my gaming community. If you haven't seen it, well, you know, we don't get to play as much as we used to because of my work and me doing Forge a lot. But if you want to join something that you can communicate with me, so you can communicate to me and share some cool stuff. I have a gaming community club called Sakula Gaming. Just look that up, and you should be able to find it. And yeah, anyways, let's take a look at this map. Going through this map, this here is the spawn. Small, simple spawn, not a whole lot here. Surrounded by a bunch of big blocks of ice and some rocky snow terrain. And that's one of and kind of going off to the start of the map of one of the reasons why I didn't pick this as first is kind of the terrain right here. It kind of threw me off, and I'm like, I understand you wanting to have a puddle there, but it should have just been flat terrain. Didn't need to be there. It's kind of out of place and the terrain is just not clean going into the ice. And that's one thing that I'm very big about is terrain. But going through the map, one of the reasons why if I did have a third person that entered, this map was still going to be second because of the uniqueness of a lot of stuff on the map. These crystals here, along with the plants, along with how they're placed and used on this map, along with the big crystals and just kind of the background, looks really good on the map and just kind of makes you kind of look around and go, what else? What world are we on? What else is here? And at least for me, it does that. And I like the map because of the uniqueness of what he's done. Ph0enix has done another map called Crystal Island, and I made a video about that a long time ago. I might have to do another video on it because of the bad audio quality. But going around the map, you can see a lot of areas where it's like, oh, there's some background stuff. He's showing it off, so the world looks bigger. And there he was in the party with me, so there he goes. But anyways, going through here, the uniqueness of using a lot of these forge objects, like trees being upside down, using the alien plants, using the vines going up, and then using these big covenant pieces, kind of making the map have its own identity. Also having some glowing crystals here, that's another thing that he has done for his maps. He uses some crystals and a bunch of other stuff that kind of makes the map go, ooh, that looks nice. But this map just looks really clean to me, and I really do like how the map has been built and just the way that it looks. And looking around of the map, a lot of stuff that you think probably wouldn't fit kind of fits with this map, in my opinion. I know a few other people probably wouldn't feel the same way, but when I hosted a lobby on this, a lot of people joined, and a few people said, "Did you make this?" I was like, "No, it's one of my other people. He's in the lobby," and the response that some people gave was very positive. I do like it. I also like the idea of these crystals kind of having their own little design to it and just kind of having their own little look here. It's just kind of, and with a little bit of a blue glow, it looks really interesting and kind of just unique. Now this front door area, I like it. I like the idea of it. The Foreigner mixed of like, instead of it being that old classic Foreigner hall that we knew that was kind of how I did, he kind of went for like that new art style. The only thing that looks really weird that doesn't fit to me is this big ring piece that he put down. I don't know the full purpose for that. It looks kind of weird in its place with the big blocky objects here, but no, just that's all I'm gonna say. Is it just it looks a little bit out of place. Going in here, I like the idea of the hallway. It gets dark, mysterious, and the lighting in it is not too dark to where it's like, that doesn't look good. It still looks good, and the use of the energy glass there, being put there. And then when you kind of go around the corner and you explore deeper into the structure, you see this here, and I was a little bit intrigued because I'm like, what did you do? And I came in, I was like, oh, well, that's nice. Oh yes, and adding some details and a lot of different barriers and a lot of different things on the map. He kind of blocked the pathway here, didn't he? Oh no, he actually got rid of it. Never mind. So there's only one pathway down now, and it looks interesting. Now, when I say that he changed something, I gave a comment on the map before, and he said he was going to change stuff. So he changed stuff once, and I never said anything else again because I didn't want to keep changing stuff just off my opinion, because I didn't want him to try to make the map to where he could win first place, because that would have been it would have been fair to Cleanser, and it wouldn't have been a fair contest. But looking at this map, it looks good. I just feel like the reason why it didn't get first is due to the use of the foreigner texture on some objects and the new stuff being used in this area. It looks good for what it is, and it looks to me. I would host a social on this because it looks neat in its own way, and it's got its own design. So it has that uniqueness of that it's someone else's map, and no one else can take their design away from them. No one can really copy someone else's design to the exact T of whatever someone else has built, unless it's like a building or something very simple that can be replicated. But this here has a bunch of different curves, like there on the ceiling, and just the use of objects here. To me, it's just very unique, and I don't think anyone else could take this away from Ph0enix. Going back here, this is the one place where I actually believe the use of the new foreigner stuff, like that pylon there and that big clip piece, is done very well, and I'll talk about the moving iceberg in a second. Someone's probably sitting there like, what the heck is wrong with that thing? But the use here of these two objects fits perfectly with these blocks and these trapezoids. They fit perfectly to where they blend, and it looks like they belong together. And I do like the idea of what is being used here. And I actually didn't notice this, but he actually put a block there to actually add some more to it. I didn't notice that, and I was like, wait a minute. Oh. But it looks good. The idea of having the Covenant kind of occupy this little spot using crates and barriers and putting a phantom here, I do like the idea of this area. It looks very well done. And I have to say that if most of the map kind of had this idea of like plain block, but then had some area that looks like it's going in a grave amount of detail, and then using the objects like that, would look very well. The other reason why I didn't pick first again for this is due to this big open area. The idea of how this is made is interesting, and I kind of see the idea and the design that's going into this. But you have the two bits that are you have these two big walls that are leaning down and at an angle, and you can see it. That that doesn't fit with the frame that's up at the top. It's not all flat. One side is slanted down, the other one isn't slightly slanted down and ends at a certain point to where there's a big open hole. And it kind of looked weird. Also, the fact that it's also plain and there's no little extra design. Whenever I was working on the design for my walls and whatever else on some of my other maps, what I did was I tried to put indents and make little glowing pieces and whatever else to make it look a little bit more interesting. What I would suggest, what I would have been interesting to see, or what I would have suggested, is to put some of those Covenant breakable floor pieces, the cylinder one, and put like a glowing effect underneath it to add more design to this wall, so that way it wouldn't be so plain, and it would add more life to the map. It would add more life to it, and it'd look a little bit more interesting. The other thing I would suggest is take away all scripts to anything that is moving right now, because that looks really weird and out of place and doesn't look natural. For people who know me, natural terrain and a bunch of other things like that, if it doesn't look like it belongs in the real world, it just doesn't need to be done. The icebergs in real life, when I've watched some stuff with when I was a kid with polar bears and whatever else, a lot of ice pieces that are floating on the water don't move and shake around like that unless something is on it that's making it move or shake. So in reality, for this thing to be moving, it's like there's a ghost jumping on it constantly, and it's also freezing and then like shaking a little bit, then it stops. Same with the smaller pieces over here. They don't need to be moving. They just need to sit still and stationary, because the water also you can't really tell which way this water is going. It looks like it's going in 4 or 5 different directions, and it's kind of one of those things that you look at, you're like, And again, it looks good. I also do like how it's kind of the structure does kind of fade into the water at a certain angle, so that way you can't really see that, like, oh, it just kind of ends. But yeah, this map's very well made. I do like it, and this is why. And all the stuff on it is the reason why it's won second place with the glowing crystals and the design. It would have won Ph0enix would have won first, not because of him being a part of my group, but because of the if he added more detail to areas that it needed, and it added more stuff where it like added things that needed to be there that made the map feel more Forerunner to where it's supposed to be, it would have won that other than Cleansers. Cleansers, the reason why it's his one is due to the fact that his Forerunner stuff had a design to it and had some things put onto it that made it look good in the way that it's supposed to. The design that he was going for fit, and the objects he was using fit with the design of the map. And it didn't break it didn't go weird, it didn't go stupid. It looked great. This map has a lot of these pylons in weird places. This looks fine, and it kind of fits the blank wall, but you kind of have a lot of these things kind of sitting on the floor, and it just looks kind of out of place and weird. Like, if you had these on the floor, I'd have put like some weird, like a kind of like a clean frame around it to kind of make it look more embedded with the actual structure itself. And that's what I would have done. But, you know, every forger has their own unique way to forge and has their own way to do something. So I hope you guys enjoyed this forge map. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. The map is in my bookmarks, and it is also in Ph0enix's bookmarks. Yeah, Ph0enix's bookmarks as well. And if you enjoyed the map, leave a like. You know, leave a comment saying what you liked about the map and what you also some tips on how to improve it. I didn't say it in the last video. If you want to go to the last video, what you would change the map, because a lot of times, a lot of things about forgers, giving us some constructive criticism is never bad. It's the way that you also present it. One of the biggest problems is the way some people present it. Some people present criticism in ways that seems really rude, and they're not trying to help the forger, but put them down to the point where they don't want to forge anymore. And the constructive criticism I can give on this map, more detail would be better for some objects in this map. Also, the platform being here really skinny here is also kind of out of place when it goes straight. When it's a flat object going into a block here that's just going straight up, if it ramped up to towards the platform, it would also look a little bit more clean, a little bit better, like it fit a little bit more. But anyways, again, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, share the video, leave a like, and a comment. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.